back, everyone, for part 2 of a not intended 2-part series that ended up going a little bit deeper, which I think is good. But for those of you guys who don't know, I'm Ashton.
And I'm Whitney.
And welcome to Questing Onward. Here we talk about all the little weird intricacies in communication that pop up and just how to navigate them more effectively, as well as just share parts of our lives, just our experiences, just as being just basic husband and wife with kids and like navigating the complexities of all things that revolve around that. So we appreciate all of the love, support that we get from all the various channels, Instagram, Facebook, not Facebook as much, but more Instagram and YouTube. So thank you guys for all of that. And feel free to shoot us a message if you have any questions or something you'd like us to talk about. We love those. Today's topic, like I said, this is going to be a part 2 on how can we as husbands show support for our wives. For a quick little summary, I'm just going to sum this up real quick. I asked a very question I didn't know where it was going to go, and it ended up going a direction that was very interesting, which this is what we love. These are like why we started this podcast in the first place. It was like have more open conversations. But the question was simply, oftentimes as men, it feels like we're put in, as husbands I should say, it feels like we're put in a lose-lose scenario, right? Where it's like we can help do something and see if that gets the results that you're looking for, and try, and then oftentimes we do it wrong, so we lost. So it's like we do it, we lose. We don't do it, we lose, right? And so the question simply is, how do we avoid these? Which I don't know if there's a perfect way, but I do feel like it happens more often than not to men or husbands, from my experience, than it does to wives. So let's see if we can find a way to navigate through this. Is there anything you want to add before we hop into this?
No. I was going to say maybe like give an example of something that we gave the example last time of doing laundry. Sometimes Ashton will do laundry, fold it. Maybe he doesn't fold it the right way, or maybe he doesn't put it away all the way.
Yeah, or maybe it's dishes. Like it literally could be anything. Dishes, cleaning up after dinner. Like that could look really differently. So, cool. That was great. I didn't know if you had anything to add. So my question, I guess, is first and foremost, do you feel like this is fair for a person to be in this situation?
No.
Okay.
So I think as a woman, for those women that stay home and that's their full-time job,
sure,
we know exactly what we want to get done, how we need to get it done. We're constantly looking at the little tiny things, scrubbing the baseboards, the walls, the light switches are looking nasty, the side of the fridge needs to get cleaned. I mean, we're like nitpicking everything that needs to get done in the house. And so there's these menial tasks that sometimes that we'll ask our husbands to do. And a lot of times, and I'm definitely at fault for this. We talked about that a little bit in the other episode. But when I ask him to do something, in my mind, it encompasses everything that goes along with that. So for example, we gave this doing laundry. For me, that means folding it and then putting it away. So it's completely out of the way. It's completely done. And then every once in a while, I'll throw some of the clothes that need to get hung up. I'll just throw it. Like there's a little spot in our closet. I'll throw it sometimes. But for Ashton, that may look like I folded the laundry. The job is complete. But for me, that's half done. And so it's almost worse that he left it half done because it's now half done. It's like, we'll just close it out.
It's
just
so
finish
funny
it up.
because that doesn't even logically make sense. It's like, yeah, there's this project that needs to get done. It's halfway. That's half of the work you don't have to do. Logically, that doesn't even make sense, right? And I think this is, we talked about this a couple weeks ago, of like the logical side versus the emotional side, right? Because it's like logically that doesn't compute like at all, right? And I think more often than not, we as men, especially when we're doing, like husbands, when we're trying to do this proactively, that's not our intent. Like, why would we proactively try to help and then get you to get mad at us? That just like logically doesn't make any sense.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And so I think I would say, going back to your original question of, do I think this is fair? On the woman's side, I think so many times, again, we look at this and think if this is half done, and it almost makes it worse because it's only half done. It's like, well, I could have done that. And then, well, now I have to go and finish it for him. But I think we need to step back as women and kind of look at this scenario. And is he meaning to irritate me? Is he meaning to do a bad job? And the answer is no.
Yeah, vast majority of times, at most, the answer would be no. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm sure there are men or women who do that intentionally.
And
That's rare.
that's a whole nother, that's a
Yeah.
whole nother. We're going to talk about the average healthy man and woman in a healthy relationship. And so I think for that, just asking yourself that question, is he doing this out of a place of malice, or is this coming from maybe he's just not reading my mind? And maybe I just need to elaborate a little bit more
Yeah.
the next time that this happens. Hey, when I say I need the laundry getting done, in my mind, I'm so grateful for the help you gave, but could you also put it away next time? Because that's going to save me an extra step. And I appreciate the help.
Can I interject here?
Yeah.
I think one thing that would even help more from like my standpoint, because I will tell you right now that even if you said that to me, I'd still be annoyed.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I can see that.
And so I think like to me, and I think there's two different scenarios here. Let's talk about like scenario A where a man is trying or husband's intentionally trying to help, like
Going
out
out
of his own volition. Just take whatever effort was given and thank the person, do the rest of it, and then just say, next time, could you do that? I really would appreciate that.
Mhm.
Like that would go so much more than like, hey, thanks for doing the dishes, but do you mind actually putting them away? Like that is just like such a slap in the face for like,
Yes.
hey, thanks for not, thanks, instead of just like, hey, thank you.
Because if you were to reverse the role,
Yeah.
I would be pissed if you said that to me.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's the other thing too. If I were to like ask yourself this question, if I were to reverse the roles and I went out of my way to help my husband, like let's say I like wiped down his keyboards and like cleaned his PC or something. And
Right. I'm a gamer. That's why she's saying
yeah, that's why I'm saying this. But I forgot to clean his gaming chair. If Ashton came to me and was like, hey, you forgot the gaming chair. Like,
well, that's
do you want to die?
like, that would never happen.
That would
like,
never happen.
I don't even imagine saying something like that. I would just be so thankful for like you going out of the way to do these things. And so I think like that's like, yeah, that's a really good insight. Because I think that like oftentimes I'll like from my standpoint, and I hear this a lot from like my guy friends, it's almost like we feel like we don't even want to help because helping is like, it's not actually helping. Like we do it to try to like show you love and then you don't give love back. It's like that didn't even help. It just caused frustration. So I think like that's key to this is like it may not be done, and unfortunately it's probably not gonna be done perfectly more often than not. But like I think just like from us as husbands, like just be thankful for what we do. And then I think in the little things what would help us is if it's something where we've gone out of our way, just finish the rest of it and then just thank us and say, hey, I really appreciate it, but next time I already put it all away because I'm so thankful. But do you mind like when you help me with that? Could you just put away, and if you don't know where things go, just leave those things out and then tell me which ones those are, and I know, like that would help out a lot. Like that would go so much further than just being frustrated.
Yeah. And I think it's that positive feedback.
Yeah.
And I think it's that whole concept of the bell ringing.
Yeah.
And if you ring the bell and then expect, or I don't even know how to
You're
explain
talking
this.
about Pavlov's.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And so it's like if he's doing a good thing and I give him that positive reward, he's more inclined to do that positive thing again. And so if you're constantly giving this positive feedback with these positive actions, eventually this is going to take time and practice, but eventually he's going to get there and he's going to do it right. And eventually it'll be putting the laundry all the way away.
Correct.
The exact way that I want it because I've trained him that way.
Yeah. Well, I think just like it's done with love and positive, right? And you actually took the next question, which it's going to be more of a rhetorical question because like I was going to ask this to almost force that out, where at the end of the day, would you rather, from like us as a husband standpoint, would you rather have us wait and like not be proactive and just have you tell us every single time when you want something done? Or would you rather have us be proactive?
Oh, 100% proactive.
And I think everyone would say that, right? And I think if a wife would not say that, it's probably because they felt that way and it was done the wrong way so many times that they're just like, it's not worth it now.
Yes.
That's my guess.
Yes.
I could be wrong. But I think that with that in mind, right, that means that it has to be done from a place of love all the time. Like it can't be done from a place of frustration because if it is, you're like negatively reinforcing that behavior. And so it's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Yes, because that's one thing too, I would say is a lot of times in those situations, I will come off very passive aggressive. And I've been practicing with like on not being passive aggressive. And that's something that I've talked to Ashton about. And sometimes I even say that to him, just right now, I know that you just did this and I'm so sorry. I'm feeling a little bit frustrated and I'm really trying not to be. And sometimes I'll just preface with that and then we'll have a conversation about it. And I think that's important to know is as a woman, it's not our complete responsibility. And as the man, it's not the complete responsibility. Correct. It's both of you working together to communicate that with each other. And again, I think as women, we have a lot of control and things that we can do to change that. And I think that that's great. And I think I wouldn't say manipulative, but it's a power that we can definitely use to our advantage to help us. And I think also as men, I think it's something that I think just being open to that feedback and just seeing that I don't think the wife is doing it out of malice per se, but just in her mind, sometimes I expect it to go this way.
Sure.
And maybe just being patient with it, I think, more than anything, and like being willing to have these kinds of conversations about what's going on.
Yeah, and I think that's a key is like be patient, be willing to have the conversations, and then also be loving on the feedback. So anyways, I thought it was really interesting. Good topic. I didn't expect that was going to go that way, but I think it was helpful, and I hope that you guys learned something from it. So we appreciate you guys. Thanks, and we'll see you next week.